In terms of controversy, this should be the shortest conversation ever held. This comes down to goaltending, and this is no contest. Tampa Bay will win this comfortably, not necessarily because they're the better team. They might be. In fact, I think they are. But the goaltending is easy. The best goaltender in the world against some other guy. How come I'm wrong? Millen, to you first.
I don't know they are. 928 save percentage in the playoffs for Vasilevsky. Every time that the game is on the line, he makes that save that he needs to make in the third period to keep his team alive. And it looks like it'll be Kemper, I would assume. I'm making an assumption still.
Yeah.
And
well, if it's not,
right.
if it's not Kemper, Greg, if it's not Kemper, this thing might end in 3.
Yeah, and I would agree it'll be Kemper. And Bob, I hear you. Like, this guy is world class, off the charts, ridiculous. And you're playing against McKinnon, who's probably arguably right now the best forward or one of the best forwards in the world. That will be interesting. But Vasilevsky for me has been just I can't describe how well he's played again this year. So yeah, I'm not a predicting type of guy, but you have to like Tampa's chances based on their goaltending, no doubt.
DUHATSCHEK is smirking there in the corner. What's your opinion?
Only because at this point I'm supposed to take the counterpoint, and how can I?
What I said, it's going to be a short conversation.
Okay, so all right, so I'll try to build a case for Colorado's goaltending, knowing, with the caveat, I suppose, that everything that Greg said is right. Everything that you said in your preamble is right. I do previews. Everybody I work with does previews. Everyone is saying the same thing. The goaltending matchup is completely one-sided, and there's just no disputing that. So how do you overcome the fact that sometimes one team has the best goalie and the other team has a question mark in goal? Well, it's a best of 7 series, so it's how you play over 2 weeks, not how you played over the previous 6 weeks or even how you played over the previous 12 months. And, because, I have seen Colorado lots this year, probably the team that I watched the second most of any team in the league. And there have been times this year when Darcy Kemper has been really good. Really good. We haven't seen it so much in the playoffs. I don't know how physically sound he is. So, there's 2 strikes against him right away. But I can tell you, I have seen him raise the level of his game. He played sensationally with everything on the line for Canada at the World Championships last year. There are times in his career when he is lights out good. And so I think that if you get a 2-week stretch where he is lights out good, and the goaltending matchup isn't as one-sided as it looks on paper, then you have to start factoring the other qualities in this series, and then it becomes, as we like to say out in Calgary, a wagon race. So that's the most that I can say. He has the ability to play better than he has been in these playoffs.
Okay, but Greg, on the opposite side, do you play against the other goaltender? I mean, you were in playoff series. You looked 180 feet down the ice and looked at the guy. Did you say, "Oh my goodness, he's good. I got to play better than him"? Does that enter your mind?
I think the great ones do, and I think Vasilevsky just did against his Russian counterpart at the other end. So the answer to your question for me would be absolutely.
Yeah, but did you?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, you did.
I mean, especially if the guy was perceived at the other end to be better than me. I mean, that fired you up a bit. So Kemper will have a little bit of an axe to grind in that regard to try and prove he's a proven guy that's been around a long time. He'll be fired up, but you can be fired up, but can you match the other guy at the other end? And that will be interesting. The other thing to think about here is his point. I mean, he practiced yesterday. Even if they use him on the special teams for Tampa coming up, and Colorado's had a bit of a problem killing penalties throughout the season, that may be the end of this, just with Point in the lineup. I mean, this guy is just that good. And even if he's not 100%, you throw him out on the power play, put him in the bumper position where he normally is, look out. And that may be, and particularly with Stamkos looking like the old Steven Stamkos right now. I don't know what he put in his leg, but all of a sudden it's working because he looks like he's got his speed back, something he hasn't had for a while because of his injuries. That's another factor here, and his leadership has been off the charts. So this is This is becoming very interesting. You take the grinding third and fourth line of Tampa versus the speed and skill of Colorado's fourth line. That's an interesting contrast. You know, do we go back to grit wins? Do we go back to speed kills? I guess we're going to find out.